What's up, people? It's your boy Slack. In this video, I'm going to talk about debt in the U.S. In the United States today, we have a lot of debt. Student loan debt, credit card, mortgage. And a lot of people end up in higher debt. This is what happens to a lot of people, okay? What happens is that they take these loans and they feel like they shouldn't have to pay it off for different reasons, okay? There are many people today who took on the mortgage debt, right? Where they would buy a house and they thought by making small payments was so easy. Let me give you an example. Some people would do like a 20-year mortgage. And the mortgage, for example, may be just $200. So the person says to himself, $200 a month? That's very cheap, right? But that's over like 20 years. Before you know it, something happens where they may lose their job or they have other emergencies they have to attend to, so they cannot pay the mortgage anymore. So guess what happens? They may end up having late fees be added onto it, or if they're late too many times, the bank may just say, you know what, we are going to foreclose on you. It happens. But we're going to foreclose this house. So now they end up in debt, okay? Then you have the credit card. People buy things they want with a credit card in many cases, okay? Another thing is the student loan debt. The student loan debt is the one that really gets me, because you have a lot of people today who will borrow from student loans, and they have this behavior in their mind that because they didn't get a job, that they should have to pay it off. I'm looking at these people like, you people are insane. Okay, you people are insane if you think like that. But that's what we call the entitled society. This is not just for millennials, also with the baby boomers as well. Okay, many of them feel they shouldn't pay because since they took the loans to find a job, but since to get a degree to find a job, but since they didn't get a job that they wanted, they now have this behavior like they shouldn't have to pay anything. And I'm looking, if you go on YouTube or even go online, you can always find stories on student loans, regardless of the age bracket. You can find stories on student loans all the time. People aren't paying. And like, if you guys don't pay your student loans, you're gonna find stuff hard because one, some companies are not going to, let me take it back. Some companies are not going to like hire you. If you have student loan debt that's defaulted, they're not going to hire you. Among all the debt I've seen, right, based on what I have researched a little bit, student loan is the only debt employers may overlook because they feel like, okay, everyone went to college, so it's not as if it's like people didn't go, okay? So if you have a student loan debt, employers are going to overlook it in many cases. Unless you owe like over 100 grand, that's pretty excessive. But for the most part, they will. If you have like a credit card debt or you have like mortgage debt, many employers are they may not even hire you because they're going to say that you're irresponsible, you know? But that's the way it is. So, and these people today think that they're not going to pay off their loans. I'm looking at people like, you people are insane. If you think you won't pay it back, people don't understand having excess debt is very, very risky now, because one, if you have excess debt, employers, like I said, they may overlook your job application, because in many cases, when you apply for a job and they reject you, they don't have to tell you why they are rejecting you. They don't have to tell you. So, but in many cases, they check during the background investigation, they check your credit score. And that's one, if they see your score is pretty low, or you have many late payments, they're just going to overlook your application. Okay? Then there's some cases where if you have like student loan debt, you could lose your tax refund. Yeah? You can lose your tax refund if that happens. Some cases, they can take away your Social Security. But people don't understand these things. And I think right now it's harder to even default. No, sorry. Right now it's harder to get deferment. Based on your situation, you can file for deferment, but now they're making it harder. And I even think with forbearance too. Forbearance is pretty much where you tell them that you cannot find a job. So they'll tell you, okay, your account is in deferment, but the interest will keep on increasing. With deferment, the interest rate does not increase if you're in deferment. Usually this happens if you are currently in school, or if you join like the military, they'll probably give you a pass. But apart from that, from the last day you attended school, you have a 6 months grace period, then the interest will start increasing. Then you have the forbearance, where you have to show hardship, in a sense where based on your current income, you cannot pay it off. So that's when you'll get a pass. But with the forbearance, the interest will keep on increasing. So a lot of people don't understand how that works. A lot of people don't understand that when you don't pay, the interest keeps increasing, and you'll enter in more debt. And in some cases now, I think they're making it harder to claim forbearance. So then, if you don't make a payment, they'll put your stuff in, and sometimes you have to pay a minimum balance. So it's not just you making a payment, you have to make a minimum balance. And if you don't pay that, your account goes into default. When your account goes into default, you can have your wages garnished. It goes on your credit score, and it's just one of those things. And it's really tough, It's really tough. But you have these people today who think they're not going to pay off their debt and they're just going to walk away. Like, there are people today in their 50s and 60s who are pretty much having no money because they have Social Security, right? But since they owe student loans, they're having it garnished. So, we live in this culture and society where people don't want to be responsible for their actions. They don't want to be responsible for their actions. So it's like and the people here who complained, they've protested and blah, blah, blah. It does nothing for them. My advice to people, get out of debt as soon as possible, because the longer you stay in debt, it's going to have a longer effect on your quality of life. Let me know what you think. Peace.